What's going on, you guys? Hopefully the volume is coming through loud and clear with not too much background noise. I'm using my Beat Studios earbuds to record this video, so I hope the audio reflects on the price I spent for these mother suckers, okay? But I want to talk about Florida's controversial child labor law and talk about it, explain it, and get y'all opinions as well in the comment section down below on how you feel about this. And if you live in the state of Florida, I definitely want to hear from you. So, Florida's new child labor bill is causing a bit of a ruckus and a lot of debate, not just in Florida, but across the nation. So, it's going to let 16 and 17-year-olds work longer hours, meaning they can now work as early as 6:30 and as late as 11 p.m., even when school is in session, unless otherwise noted by a school official or their parents are opposed to that. People are saying that this could put teens at risk, like they could fall behind on their grades, as well as has other implications like health issues with their mental health and stuff like that. Now, this bill was passed by a very thin margin. That's why you all need to get out, be registered to vote, have your IDs updated, have your voter, like your polling places, already know where you're at, need to go at, show up early, have your water, your snacks, your Gatorade, your juice, whatever you need. Get out and vote. Because this was passed by a very slim margin. Anyway, besides these kids being able to work from 6:30 to 11 while school is in session, there will no longer be any type of mandated break. So let's say a kid in this state normally would have to get like a 30-minute break if they work 6 hours, or hour break if they work 8 hours or more. There's no more mandated breaks. So now these kids can be scheduled to work from 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. That's 12 hours with no breaks. Like, that's insane. That's even tough for some adults to pull. Like, if I'm working 12 hours, I expect to get a 30-minute break and two 15-minute breaks. When I say that, I mean 30-minute break, not paid, two 15-minute breaks, paid. If that's not what the company is going to do for me, then you're not going to schedule me, 10, 12 hours. Simple as that. Now, moving down the ladder, if your child is 14 and 15, their work restrictions are also now being removed, which is even crazier. Because a 14, 15-year-old definitely doesn't have the mindset of a 16, 17-year-old. They definitely going to need to be having more rest for school. And they definitely should be getting a break. Now, the only catch with the 14 and 15 years old is their stuff only changes if they have already graduated from school or homeschooled or attend school virtually. If none of those things apply, then their work regulations will not be changed. And of course, DeSantis, the governor of Florida, he supports the bill. And apparently, Florida is having an employment shortage because a lot of their employment base was migrant workers who have now been deported or are now afraid to even show up to work. So he's saying that a younger workforce would help to fill the gap of those missing people. Now, as a parent, if I was to be okay with this, I would then ask, well, if my kid is taking these jobs of these adults who are being deported or don't want to show up for work because they're afraid to be deported, are you going to pay them what you paid those adults? Or are you going to pay them what you would be paying a kid normally? Like, it has to be some give and take here, I feel like. If you're going to do all this, then you should be making their pay a little bit more as well. And also, keep in mind, a lot of these jobs that these migrant workers did were labor-intensive jobs that paid low income. These American kids are not about to... This ain't gonna work. This is stupid. You're not gonna pay some American-born kid pennies on the dollar to do what someone from Mexico or El Salvador or wherever would do to provide for their family. I I I have kids that apply for jobs that ain't never had a job asking to get $16, $17 an hour. Shit, me. Ain't gonna happen, Captain. But hey, the sky's the limit. Maybe not at this establishment. Here's another thing that I came across in this story. Florida's previous laws were actually better than state laws when it came to 14 and 15-year-olds. They had actual time restrictions set in place when it came to work and breaks and whatnot. The federal law does not they don't apply that to the federal law is less strict than what Florida's law already was. So Florida is now actually aligning themselves more with the federal law. If that makes sense. So this is something that is actually, kind of like widespread, I guess. I guess they say like federal law supersedes state law, I guess. But states also have leeway to make their own stuff. So Florida had rules set in place that were better than federal laws, but now they're doing what's more in line with the federal laws for these 15, I think they said 15 and 16 years, or it's the 14 and 15-year-olds. But either way, they're changing it for the worse, but in a way to try to make the Florida economy stay afloat, because ain't nobody coming to work on these fields and these farms and stuff. So what do y'all think? Will this help Florida's economy just in the short term or in the long term? But will it be an issue in the long term when it comes to their education standards and growing their workforce in like medical and engineering and computer sciences, stuff like that? If a 16-year-old is working 30 hours a week, what time do they have to be a 16-year-old and to study and pass exams and look up their future, university that they may want to go to? Like, let's really think about this. You guys leave your comments down below, thumbs up, subscribe, share out the video, and have a great Friday night.